Well, I can tell you that Clarice, I have known for probably, I don't know, 3 years now, Clarice, I
Oh
reckon I've known
yeah.
you. And
Yes.
she is such an amazing character. I love her. She's been on my podcast. She's super good at marketing and analytics, and she knows all about things like Google and YouTube and, all the channels. She knows kind of how to work them, sort of the algorithms, how to build your followers and all of that side of social media, don't you, Clarice? That's where you're really smart, isn't it, darling?
Ye- Yes. Thank you, Jules.
That's okay. And I'll let you tell them as you go along if there's things you want to tell them about
Yeah.
you. But I know tonight's session's specifically about YouTube because we're all really interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm really interested because I am still growing mine. So I'm always
Yeah.
wanting to learn. So over to you, my lovely.
Yes. So good evening, everyone.
Good
I'm very
evening.
happy. Yeah, I'm very happy to see all of you ladies tonight. Very excited. So yeah, Jules has been a long time friend, I would say. Yeah, quite a while now, and I'm very excited to be a part of her kind of community in this part of this high street community. So she's kindly invited me, and I'm very excited to share all about YouTube, which is I would say one of the biggest thing that would definitely grow exponentially in 2021 as well. So if you're running like a business, having a YouTube channel is something that I would highly recommend you to get started. So Jules has given me a little bit of background about some of you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and some of you have kind of set something up, but not quite got into the rhythm of things yet. So I hope this presentation today will help you feel more empowered to get started on your YouTube channel, to get going, to kind of lay out the basics in a way, what are the fundamentals to get started, and what are the things that you shouldn't worry too much about. So if you have any questions along the way, yeah, you can put it like in the chat, and then Jules will help me to manage and kind of maybe interrupt me where it is, and then we will go from there. Okay, cool, awesome. So today's presentation, I've kind of titled it this way: to get your first 100 subscribers, the 10+1 vital elements to growing your YouTube channel. And I hope this is going to be really useful for you in terms of having some action items as well, and what kind of to look out for. So I know Jules has already introduced me. I just a little bit quick part about myself is one of the main expertise is to help turn blog readers and YouTube subscribers into customers. YouTube is very exciting in my perspective because there is a lot of room to grow. I would say it's a much better effort in terms of building up YouTube channel, just like a blog, compared to growing on social media, because YouTube channel is the place where people go to search for answers. So yeah, so this is a picture of me. I like to recently in the last couple of years, I like to talk in front of the audience. So I was very much honored last year when we would all be traveling all over the world. I was in Boston speaking to a crowd, over thousands of people in the room, my first time in the US. So I was super thrilled and excited. And that's kind of like part of sharing. And that's why I like sharing my expertise in terms of like marketing, algorithm, and I like to simplify things. So I'm sure you're going to pick up quite a number of interesting tactics. I would say updated tactics, because YouTube keeps changing its algorithm. So there's been a number of changes. How you grow your channel today is definitely different from 5 years ago. Cool. And these are some of the brands I worked with before I started my own business. I actually worked for, I was formerly from Singapore, and I was working for Microsoft back then, so I have more of an analytical background. I would say I'm not a very artsy person or designer. I like to call myself the analytical creative marketer. So I try to be creative based on the results you're gonna get and what kind of effort we need to put in to maximize our results. Cool. So in we go. So one does not simply start a YouTube channel, right? So, I want to share, kind of simplify it for you today. There are parts of my presentation. Why people turn to YouTube. I'm going to briefly skim through this so we can understand what the audience on YouTube are doing, so you will know what to do to attract those audience. Second thing is you want to really understand what YouTube wants. So if you know what they want, you give them what they want, it helps to get on top of the algorithm, and they're going to rank your channel and recommend your videos to other people. And the third part, I'm going to go into the 10+1 elements to growing your channel and getting your first 100 subscribers. Cool. Why people turn to YouTube? Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the audience. Okay? Let's don't think that we are creating videos right now. Let's think. Put yourself, take a moment, put yourself in the shoes. Think about it. When you go to YouTube, what are you thinking about? How do you behave? How do you look for videos? How do you decide which videos to watch? So there is one main purpose based on research from Google. People watch video to learn new skills and pursue passions. That's kind of the gist of it. And there are people who want to learn something, so they want to learn by watching and then going on to doing. So they might not really know how that works. So if they watch someone's actually doing it on the video, then they start to know, or it makes it feel simpler for them to get started. Go from can do to must buy. Sometimes when they want to buy some products, they want to know how it works. Does it work for them? Who does it work for? So if they actually see a real person demonstrating it for them or explaining to them, breaking out the pros and cons for them on video, it gives more clarity. And one of the good things, in fact, about YouTube is people who go onto YouTube, they are more open to other brands and products. So they could be using existing products, but if they could be convinced by those videos that they watch that there is something better out there for them, they might ditch their current products and turn to the new product, new brand. And the last part is how they will learn to walk the walk. So sometimes people they get triggered by seeing how people are doing it. It inspires them to get started. So one of the things that I've been doing recently is to go for an early morning walk at around 7 o'clock. And what I realized is after a few days waking up early at 7 o'clock, I saw other people. After a while, they become familiar faces. I talk to them, but I see them. I'm like, wow, they're really disciplined, coming for this walk every day at 7. They're already there at 7. So I'm thinking, okay, right, there are other people having this discipline. I'm sure I can do it. So it's a little bit like that. So the videos, it helps motivate them to get started or to keep going. So how can your channel help them? So for your channel itself, when you're growing your channel or you're creating videos, think about how those videos can help people on YouTube to discover your products and services. How can they answer people's most common questions? And how can you enable people to take action? Could it be you showing them how to do it? Could it be you showing them a scratch? Could it be you going outside, for example, if you're like a photographer, you bringing your videos out there and showing them your gear, how you set things up? So there are different ways to do it. It depends on what your niche is. So when you're creating your videos, think about that. You want people to go, that was really useful. I didn't know I could do that too. Or that's a better way to do it. So that's the purpose or objectives of your videos. Okay, what YouTube wants so you can work it to your advantage. Obviously has all the other platforms online. Even though setting up a YouTube channel is free for all of us. You can upload videos, which takes up a lot of cloud storage space, which YouTube is paying for. So they need to make money. They need to maintain those servers. So they need money from us. And the main thing about YouTube is one of their largest money maker is actually advertising revenue. So when you put your videos up, when you have a certain number of subscribers, then you can choose to monetize it or not to monetize it. So for those channels who choose to monetize it, what happens is YouTube will take a cut of those advertisement revenues. I believe you get 55% and YouTube gets 45%. So if an advertiser puts an ad on your video, that's the split of share. So what YouTube wants is basically they want you to create videos that make people go like this. So essentially, they want people to stay on YouTube, never go off YouTube, be there all the time, stay there 24/7 if possible. So that's what they want them to do. So if you can create videos that create a sort of, if you can create videos that is able to create this environment that keep people on YouTube, whether you were the entry point or you are the videos that people keep watching or everything that you have recorded, doesn't matter. As long as you are helping YouTube to keep those subscribers on their platform, YouTube loves you. So essentially what they are looking for over here is watch time. That's the number one criteria for the YouTube algorithm is watch time. They want people to stay as long as possible in the video. If people are watching your videos from beginning to end, and there's a significant number of views on those videos, then what happens is YouTube would start sharing your videos or recommending your videos to other people who could be interested. So if you might have seen YouTube, so sometimes what happens is after you watch the video, you see these recommended or suggested videos either on the home screen of your YouTube channel or at the bottom right. I don't know if you've seen, like, on the screen, you see the video on the main screen, and then the right hand corner, you see like the suggested videos. So if your video becomes really popular, it will appear there so people can actually discover your channel. So there's two main ways of people finding your videos. One is you help to bring people to YouTube and watch your videos. The other thing is when you have actually got enough people, enough audience size to tell YouTube kind of subtly that your channel is worth watching. You can actually bring audience to watch your videos, and YouTube says, right, you've been doing a great job. Now I'm going to give you a push. That's when they start pushing you out on the algorithm and recommending those videos. That's just it. So having said that, I'm going to go into how you can create your videos, your journey to creating your videos to get your first 100 subs. So I'm going to talk about the first 7 vital elements to growing your YouTube channel. Oh, that wasn't supposed to be there, that little thing. But let's focus on this little symbol right on the left-hand side. Okay, so the left-hand side, I, which means informative. That's the number one criteria. Your video must be useful, valuable, informative. People have to be learning something. They have to learn some information, something new, or to clarify their doubts or clarify their needs. It needs to be useful. If it's not useful, then nobody's going to watch your videos. So you have to think about what I've mentioned earlier about the most common questions that your clients have. So you have to think about that when creating your videos. So informative. Doesn't matter even if you make it very entertaining, but there's nothing inside of value that people are going to learn something from, especially if you are promoting your own products or services, then nobody's going to buy your products and services eventually. So it has to be information. Each video has to have a purpose for your audience. What is your audience going to take away after watching your video? Think about it, each of your video. What's the outcome? So the next thing is it has to be visual. So there's a difference between people wanting to watch videos and reading a blog post. So if you are having people watching your face, at least be visible. Try to make it decent when you record it. So if you are recording it at home, if possible, try to record it in just bright sunlight if you can. I mean, nothing very fancy, but even if you just have your phone, something in the daytime is really good. If you record it really dark, it's kind of not so visually appealing. So if you can, just something really simple. We don't need fancy light at the start, but when you get to your 100 subscribers, you want to make it a little bit fancy, like a ring light. But otherwise, like normally, even if you just record, when you sit in your room, home office, and then you have some sunlight coming in, you can just start recording. And of course, the most important part as well, these are the top 3 things. You have to have your good audio. So people need to hear you on your video. So if they can't hear you clearly, it defeats the entire purpose. They could have read the blog post. They can't hear you. So that is really important. So when you're recording, you want to have if you want to sit in a quiet room, you don't want to be in a noisy environment. Try to record like in a quiet environment if you can. If you're doing it outdoors, I might recommend you to get like a microphone or so. But if you are in your house and everything's really quiet, if you just record in front of your phone or kind of using your computer, that's good enough. Nothing fancy. First 100 subscribers. Remember, you're not making any money from it. So what I'm trying to recommend over here, you can buy many fancy stuff, but what I want to emphasize here is you are spending a lot of effort on this channel. What can you do with what your existing equipment and budget? So we don't want to really break the bank. So if you have your decent phone, you have, like myself, I have the iPhone 10R, so that's pretty decent as it is. So if you have something somewhere along those lines, if you have an iPhone, awesome, that's good enough. If you don't, maybe you can try recording and see what's the effect. But most mobile phones, if you're like a business owner, you're using it to take pictures, take good pictures and videos, that's more than enough. You don't have nothing fancy. Cool. Right, so the next thing, cool, let me see. Right, so the next 2 things I want to talk about is, one is your videos have to be really targeted. You want to talk to a specific group of audience. So for example, maybe you have 5 to 10 different maybe audience type or persona types. So maybe you want to aim for the top 3, 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 ideal customers types. So you think about what are their common questions and you answer those. The other thing that you could do it this way is, for example, if you already have your current client base, you want to use YouTube to generate more leads. Think about your most profitable customers or your biggest customer segments that is generating the highest percentage of income for you. Think about those group of people and create videos for those people. Because if that's your main profitable segment of customers, you focus on them and start creating videos for those group first, so you can actually start generating leads from those people, and then from there you can start to broaden your topics. So don't think about creating videos for every single persona type of your customers. Just focus on about 2 to 3 is good enough. And the next one is, if you see, it's a little magnet plus a heart. Is you have to show your personality and try to speak from the heart. When you create your videos, you don't have to think about being like really stiff. I don't know if you remember back in the school days, long time ago, if you have a history teacher like what I did, she basically read everything from the textbook. It was super boring and I often fall asleep. So try not to talk like that. Well, you are talking to your friend, talking even to your colleague, you have to talk in an animated manner, don't have to exaggerate it and do too much fancy stuff. Just talk like your normal self. Give examples, have your ups and downs. You don't have to be too nervous. Think about it. If your prospective customer is talking to you, would you talk to them in the most boring way ever? You wouldn't, right? So that's what you should aim to. Just pretend you're having a conversation. I think Jules does it very well on her um, video on the YouTube channel, those conversations, those coffee chats. It's as though, I mean, when I was doing the recording with her, it felt like really as though we're just having like a chat. So there was no nerves, no nothing. So think about, try to put yourself in that mindset. So it really helps, especially if you are camera shy. Because I understand that some people at the beginning, they're not very comfortable in front of the camera. That's similar to myself as well. It took me a while to get around that. Right. So the sixth element is to promote. You have to promote your videos, especially if you have 0 subscribers or maybe 3 subscribers right now. You have to promote that. YouTube is not going to help you to promote your videos unless they have confirmed, or I would say validated, they see proof from your own achievement that you're actually getting people to watch your videos. So what you have to do right at the start is to tell people about your videos. It could be getting your current clients to watch your videos, or maybe some prospects to watch your videos, or if you're active on social media, tell those people to watch your videos, get those people to watch your videos on those platforms, get the views up, get the watch time up. Once you have reached a certain threshold, then YouTube will actually start to help you to promote. What I like to say is you have to help yourself first before YouTube is going to help you. So think about that. Or one of the things is if you, so at the beginning when you start, you could get your friends and family to watch at the beginning, but try to move away from that eventually, unless your friends and family members are going to be your customers. Because what happens is YouTube shows audiences similar to people, to your current audience. So let's say maybe your family and friends are just playing your videos and then they go on to do something else. So obviously they're actually not interested, they're supporting you only. So if YouTube thinks that, oh, they like your videos, they start showing to other people similar to your family and friends, actually nobody wants to watch them because your kind of your friend went away while having the play button on. So think about that. But it's good at the start to get them to subscribe, so it helps to get the numbers up and you appear more authoritative, like people are subscribing. It's kind of like something like, when you're in a classroom or you're at this event and then someone's asking for volunteers and then nobody's stepping out until the first person step out. So it's good at the start to get more numbers up, so people think that, oh, that's an interesting channel. And once you get those up, try to move away from your family and friends who are actually not interested in your videos. So cool. And okay, before I go on to this 3 other vital aspects, this other thing I have to mention is at the beginning, this is less critical, but if you want to monetize your video beyond 100 subscribers, let's say if you reach the criteria of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours, then you want to create longer videos. Because if you have really short videos, it's very difficult to get to the 4,000 public watch hours mark. So at the beginning, what I recommend is if you're not comfortable, aim for 3 to 5 minutes if you can, because YouTube like a significant length of videos. So about 3 to 5 minutes is a good start, or even just 3 minutes is a good start. And once you have hit your 100 subscribers mark, you're more comfortable with creating longer videos, you can start aiming for 10 minutes or more. So 10 minutes or more is the way to start accumulating those watch hours if you want to be monetized. So that's something to think about. Don't have to start now. But yeah, the length of the videos is important. Cool. So let's look at 3 other vital elements which I want to talk about that's not about YouTube itself and not much about algorithm. But what I want to emphasize is on the research piece. You have to do your research beforehand and look at other people's videos or looking at those keywords, what people are searching for. You have to use the right lingual. Because one of the things is when people go to YouTube to search, they are using words to search. So you want to have those key phrases in your title or description and in your text. So you might want to decide what's the topic beforehand, and then you do some research to see how people phrase their questions, or how other people to get some inspiration from how other people are phrasing their question. So if you're not the super creative writer, or writing awesome standing titles like myself, what I do is I'll go online and see what other people are using and take a look, and then looking at different, maybe even different industry and different kind of questions, and then try to come up with your own creative one based on that. So you have your keywords, and then you use more of this colorful words around longer words, sort of exciting vocabulary to make your title sounds exciting. So that's one of the things to think about. Because one of the things that people look at is actually your title. So if they scroll through the search results, if they see your videos, what happens is they're going to look at the title first, the title, kind of your thumbnails, and then your description, your short description, if there is any. So having a good title is really important. And the next part I want to talk about is setting up a process. Getting from 0 to 100 subscribers is not an easy journey. So one of the things is once you decide I'm going to get my 100, you need to set up your own process. Whether it is to have your research, maybe there's one day in the week or a couple of hours you set to decide these are the videos I'm going to record, and then these are the titles that I'm going to use. And after recording the videos, this is my little checklist to upload the videos and make sure everything is completed when you upload your videos, having title, doing your thumbnail, setting it to public. When it's public, you want to promote as well. So you want to create a process for yourself. So every time when you upload a video, it's very intuitive. You know exactly what to do. What I find it really helps is if you set up a process after maybe doing that 2 to 3 videos, you know exactly what you want to do, has your minimum requirement. It helps you to get into the doing mode rather than thinking, okay, right, the last time I uploaded the video, what did I do? Yeah, I fill up the title. Oh yes, the thumbnail. You don't want to waste time like this. If you're running a business, you have no time to think. You just want to set up the process. You know there's 3 things you want to do. This one takes 5 minutes, this one takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm going to do this. And then you create a process for yourself so you don't you don't stop doing it when you are really busy with your business. So that's really important. The third thing is having the right tools. So using certain tools that you have, it will definitely help you to become more efficient, and you're able to produce your videos on an ongoing manner. So I can just give a couple of quick examples over here. Like this is what I kind of do for my client is she'll be recording the videos, and then I'm helping her to set up like the video. So I keep a little spreadsheet. So every time the video is ready, I know, okay, I've done this title description, I've done this pinned comments, I'm adding the end screen, I'm promoting it, I've created those for promotion on social media, I've created for YouTube, which is of a different size. So I just want to make sure I'm doing all of those. So it'll create a little process. So for myself, I like using the spreadsheet. If you are more techy, you can also use other tools, online tools like app. There are certain tools like this, and then there's a lot of organization tools. But if you are more pen and paper, you can also draw out your own little sheet of paper so you know that you have done that. So that's simple enough, because it really helps you to focus on the doing part, to get into the doing mode rather than thinking about what to do next. So the other things, what I did is, because I was using like for my client, so this is what I did for her. She's hit 1,000 subscribers now, so our next mark is to hit the monetization mark of 4,000 hours. So what I've done at the beginning was to just create a very simple thumbnail, which is just like a picture of her, ideally, and kind of a short title. So even if your title is very long, which YouTube allows up to a certain length, I think it's about 1,000 characters. Also, you should try to keep it short when you're doing your thumbnail. So this is the thumbnail for, actually this is the social media post for Instagram that we did. So for the thumbnail, it has to be the same size as your video, which is 1920 times 108 0. That's the dimensions for that. So for Instagram, it's 1080 times 1080, like a square. So I had to do it slightly differently, but at the beginning, I really didn't do anything fancy. It was just more of like, oh, we've got the brand colors, we've got some words, and that's it. So remember, you are not monetizing yet. So if you spend a lot of time designing awesome thumbnails, if you're not a designer, you realize the entire day would have gone just to design the perfect thumbnail. So if you have like a template, what you can do is maybe you can decide on 2 to 3 templates, or if you're happy with just one, then just stick with that. So every time you just replace maybe the image, you keep to the same fonts if you want, same size, and then the same coloring, you just stick it for them. So doesn't have to be fancy. Right. Yes. Okay, maybe we can answer those questions a little bit, or we can look. Oh, was Jules, is that your question?
So some of these are things I thought of, Clarice, as you were speaking.
Yeah, yes.
One of the things you mentioned, and I asked, how many subscribers do you need in order to monetize your channel? Well, you answered that because you said 1,000. And then you talked about 4,000 watched hours.
Yeah, public watch hours. So your video has to be in a public mode. So when you upload your video, it's either private, unlisted, or public. So only watch time for public listed videos are counted towards your monetization.
4,000, yeah. And I think the other thing I asked about just a minute ago was Canva. So does Canva have a template for YouTube thumbnail in terms of the size it should be?
Yes. They have everything. That's why Canva is very easy. If you're not a designer, Canva is perfect.
Yeah, so if any of you use Canva, or if you don't, I really recommend that you get to grips with Canva because it's so helpful.
It is very helpful.
What else did I put there? Oh yeah, could we have a list of the things that you had to remember on the spreadsheet? So I know there was there, but maybe the key things to remember to populate when you publish a video. Clarice,
yeah, sure. Yeah, I can do that. So I will share with you maybe after this, and then you can send it out to everyone.
Yeah, that would be really cool because I can post it into the group. That was all the things I thought of. Guys, have you got any questions? Are you ready for questions now, Clarice? If anyone
no, I've just got. Oh, this is my little videos.
Oh
so
no, you
I wanted
carry
to
on.
just So I wanted to show you this little video thing. That's all the thumbnails that we created over the year or so. Yeah, it's about 1.5 years now since I helped this client to grow her channel, and these are all the kind of social media posts that we've created. It was really quick because as we say, you're not monetizing it. It doesn't need to be fancy. It's just something nice and simple. And then once you hit a certain threshold, you can become fancier. So it helps. Because at the beginning, what happens is nobody is really searching for your video yet. So your video is not really going to come out in search. So your thumbnail doesn't play such an important role in showing up on search results compared to actually promoting, just having a nice image, minimal nice image that you can put on social media to get your followers on social media to go to YouTube and watch that video. So that's everything.
I think it's kind of credibility, isn't it, for your channel? When people get there, it feels like it's a professional place, doesn't it?
Yes.
If you get your thumbnails sort of in sync.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then once you hit that and then you start getting fancy, your video quality becomes higher, everything becomes different. You just up your game, I say that. So the last thing, I think this is around the last thing. Yeah, is having the right tools.
There's Canva.
So yay. Oops, what did I do?
Just came out of slideshow probably, Clarice.
Oh, did I do that? Okay, hang on. So
there you go.
Right. Cool. I don't know how I managed that. So having the right tools. So I'm assuming that everyone has something, I mean, like the basics of things. But what I want to highlight over here are a couple of more unique tools that you might not be that familiar with. I think we've mentioned earlier Canva, which is really good. So I believe that everyone here is kind of using Canva. So Canva is good for design. So they have customized template as well. They have images up there. You can do your own image. If you have a plan with them that allows you to use their remove.bg, then you can become fancier with that. I wrote a LinkedIn post today just about it. Is if you want to create like a different background with your face on it, there is a function within Canva itself. If you're on the paid plan, you can actually remove the background of your original photo if you have that, and then you can stick a different background at the back. That's if you are a good designer, if you want to get fancy. Otherwise, just stick to what I said earlier, simple, just an image and the title. Oh yes. So the next one I want to talk about is transcribing. So YouTube itself has this transcription tool. So if you have perfect British accents, lucky you, they will be able to see those. They kind of transcribe okay-ish. They don't when they transcribe, there is no punctuation marks. There's nothing. So if you really want to have the perfect transcription, if you're really kind of really precise and particular about it, I would highly recommend Otter.ai just for a free what do you call that? For a free account, you can get up to, I believe, was it 4,000? Was it 400? I can't remember, but you get a couple of hundred free minutes that you can transcribe. So if you train their AI, they'll be able to recognize certain words as well, and they can put some punctuation marks accordingly if you speak in full sentences. But if you're not speaking, you might need to make some amendments, but they can catch your accent quite well, or at least my accent. So I think it was really good. The accuracy is up to like about 60 to 70% compared to other tools out there. So it's really good. And you can just do a free account. The best part is if you have any children or you know of any teenagers who are in school, actually teachers and students can get one of their subscription plan for, was it for free or 50%? Yeah, because I was just doing a research for a friend. So she's doing a university project. So I was just telling her they're actually promoting it to students and teachers in schools. So they actually give very generously in terms of having the right tools.
Clarice, can I ask you on that? Would you recommend that we have subtitles on every video? Is that a good idea?
So this is depending on who your clients are. There's two parts of it. One part is some people, if they're watching YouTube, if they're not having a volume, so they can see those words and follow you. And if you have international clients, if you have like British accents and people don't necessarily catch all the British accent, the words, the subtitles really helps them in their understanding. Or let's say you have one of a very strong northern accent, which I myself personally struggle with when I first came to the UK. So the subtitles definitely helps a lot to follow. Yeah, so that'd be really useful. But if all your clients speak the same language as you, they have no problem, then I wouldn't worry too much about that at the start.
Okay.
Yeah, because transcribing can take up quite a bit of time, I have to say. Yeah. It's just good for people with an accent like myself that some people might not really understand. So sometimes I feel like if I put the words, they can follow better.
I think your English is wonderful, I have to say. I really do.
My accent is kind of a mix of some Singapore English, bit of American accents, because in Singapore we watch many American movies, more of Hollywood movies, and then some of the words that I've never used them in my everyday conversation. When I came here, I started picking those up. So those words, especially long words and fancy words, what happens is I have that British accent because I've never used those words before.
I love it.
So it's a bit of a mix. But yeah, so what I want to do is the last thing that I want. Oh yes, if you guys are happy with it, you can. I have my little affiliate links over here. If you haven't have an account, so if you like, no pressure. Otherwise, there's my affiliate links.
And Clarice, sorry, we also wanted to know if you could let us have a copy of the slides while I remember. That would be amazing.
Yes, cool, sure, yes.
Thank you.
The next thing is I want to talk about is the last one, which is quite important, is having a TubeBuddy. So TubeBuddy is a tool specifically just for YouTube. So for free at the start. I think I recommended that to Jules. I don't know if she has used it yet. So this tool is something that you can use it for free to research. For example, if you type in certain keywords inside, you can see what are the other videos that are already ranking for it, and what are the chances of your videos ranking for those keywords, or if people are actually using those keywords. So it's actually quite good for keyword researching compared to other existing videos. And also what are the chances of you ranking for it. So TubeBuddy has this thing like, if you have certain keywords that you're ranking for, once you type in like the you add in the tags, tags, so what happens is they will show you for this particular tag of specific phrases or keywords, they will show you whether you're ranking number 1, 2, 3, 23. A number will kind of come up on the tool. So it's integrated with with YouTube. So it's quite a decent tool. Yep, as a start, it's quite good. I always do it for my clients to get the right keywords, especially if your niche is very competitive. So having that would help you to focus on creating videos of certain topics that's easier to rank for first, then you can proceed to other videos. Cool. And okay, I've talked for quite a while. So the next thing I want to quickly round up probably is the last element which I want to talk about is, if you look at this pose, the yoga pose, which is patience.
Yeah.
So just think about this. YouTube, it takes time for your channel to grow. You're not the only channel on the platform. Keep that in mind. There are many others out there. If you want to stand out, especially if you're starting from zero, you have to be a bit patient. You need to trust the process you've set up. You need to be consistent. Let's say if you decide to publish a video every week, keep to that, and you slowly build up. So if you want to grow your channel really quickly, then you can aim for 2 to 3 videos a week if you have the bandwidth and capacity. If this is something that you're just doing at the side for the long term, you just want to start with 1 video per week just to get into the swing of things, then you have to be more patient. But make it a good one. I would say don't go for quantity, go for quality video. Remember my first 7 elements. Number 1 is informative. There's no point pushing out 3 videos that is of no good or useless and not valuable. You have to think about making 1 good video. If you have only for 1 good video, then just do 1 good video. Okay? So just a quick couple of examples and probably rounding off is I wanted to show you this. So in YouTube itself, they have this tool, which is YouTube Analytics. So I just want to show you this little chart over here, which is how the subscribers grew for my clients. As you can see, at the beginning was really slow. Video per week. You just have to keep promoting it on social media, promoting it, getting your friends, getting your potential clients to watch that, maybe put it on your website. And after that, you reach a certain threshold, a certain number of videos, then it will slowly grow. It's a way for people to do that. But if you already have existing connections or network that you're in, you can share the link with them and they can share it with people, maybe in their groups, in the community, whatever. And then that could also quickly accelerate your growth. If I did videos of making my products, then they will make their own and I would have no customers.
So Clarice, I just want to say something on what Sue said there, because it's really interesting, isn't it? I think a lot of us, when we run businesses, we don't want to ever share stuff because there's the fear people are going to copy what we've done. And I think one of the things for Sue, and I know she's listening to me, is that she has the most amazing story backing up why she does what she does, because she's actually raising money for charity with everything that she does, and the story behind that's fascinating. So what would you recommend with Sue? Because obviously she does a product, she makes a product, which would be fascinating in terms of watching a YouTube video. Do you feel like she could integrate the story into those products somehow? Would that be better? What do you think?
What products, if you don't mind sharing? I'm just kind of trying to get a better grip of what kind of products and how does it help with the charity?
Speak to us, Sue. Tell us
All
about
right, I was writing it. I forget I could speak.
it. Yeah.
I make quilts and cushions and bags and all that sort of
Right.
thing. Anything
Yeah.
out of material, I make it.
Yeah. So you don't really have to make your things. What you can do is if you are making this quilt, you can talk about your inspiration for your design and why you chose the colors, or maybe if there's a story of why you chose the certain design that you're doing, or maybe if there's a certain charity, you can talk about the charity a little bit, giving a bit of a story thing. Yeah, I think that's kind of like good enough. Or even like if you finish your products, you can show people, oh, this is finish it. You could think about your preparation process, or maybe like the way you selected your colors, or just like you don't have to show everybody from step 1 to 100 exactly. You can just have the beginning. Oh, this is kind of the design step, or like, oh, this is how I plan, or do you have some tools? This is what you use, or maybe if you have someone helping or something, you can just like have a little conversation chat. Oh, what do you think? How do you think it'll be like? Or how do you envision it's going to be? So you could maybe share a couple of things you think, oh, this was my inspiration, just something like that. You don't necessarily need to show them how you did the thing if you don't want to show how people you do that, you know? I think it's just to get them excited. So it's the process, because I've watched a couple of things. So like one of these channels that I watch, this is two guys. What happens is they are trying to go into repairing their old cars to make them more, they're very much into modifying their cars. So they get those cars and then they buy those spare parts and then they rebuild it. So you show them trying to select which scrap car based on a certain budget. So let's say, for example, if you have a certain budget, you can say, oh, based on this budget or something, this is what I have because this is the target or this is the plan. And then how much are you going to raise? Something like that. So that's what they did. They have like going to buy the scrap car selection based on they have a budget in mind, and then they'll examine the car and then they'll say, oh, why we chose this, we can do something to repair with this, and then where we can buy those replacement parts. And then after that they they bring the car and then they show the fast forward process of actually how they were making things up, and then this all those movements, and then yeah, it's done, let's go for a test drive kind of. So it's just that you don't really see them like, oh, this is this exact part that we are screwing it. No, not really. You just say, oh, this is the part we're replacing the window. You know, I wouldn't know how to replace the window, but just kind of like, if you are really into that, so you don't have to really go into the specific part. You can just go into why you decide to do this, or maybe, or what happens is, for example, if you have done certain similar types, you can even show the old things that you have done, the old product you have made, and then tell them, oh, you see, this was my first product type of this, so now I'm going to do something different or something like that. And people will get excited to know about that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Clarice, there's so much gold there. It's amazing. That was so good. Sue, can you see how many different angles there are of what you do? It's wonderful.
I mean, I've done little lives, like the other week I did a live of me with some strips of material, and I more or less said, what do you think these are going to be? Yeah. And then when I'd actually made, there were headbands actually, and I said, you know, they were all packed ready for a show, and these are what I finished. You know, people were going, oh, I expected it to be this, that, and the other. You know.
Yeah, so. It's great. It's great. I think you actually, Sue, you're fortunate in what you do, because there's so much you can do around video. I think, as
I say, I've only ever watched one video, and that's for YouTube, and that's the one about the little girl that I support. So
no, it's great. You could do loads, I think, Sue.
Yeah,
really.
Yes. Awesome. So I think, having said that, just to sum it up, the 10 plus 1 vital elements can be easily summarized into: produce quality videos, be consistent with producing your videos, having the process, having the steps set up, having the discipline, the routine, and being patient.
Amazing.
Yep. So the journey to growing a YouTube channel starts with your first 100 subscribers.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Clarice. That's so good. And guys, have you got any questions for Clarice that you've thought about? Because I know, Lucy, you've definitely been thinking about starting your YouTube channel, haven't you? What are your thoughts, having heard some of the stuff Clarice has shared?
Oh, I'm really excited because I quite like that element of doing like presentation and sort of the theatre of doing YouTube. So it really appeals to me. But I am completely novice in respect of, a few years ago I had a channel, but somebody else used to run it because we had a little blog together. So when you were showing like the thumbnails, I was like thinking, right, is that gonna, where do they appear? Do they appear on your channel as like your other what you have available? So that's what those were.
Yeah, it appears as the first element right in front of your video.
Right.
So
okay.
if you don't upload a thumbnail, then what happens is they will show the first clip, as in the first second of that has your first screen. Yeah. So it could be, or it could be, okay. So what happens on YouTube, if you don't select a thumbnail, you have the option. So YouTube automatically, they have an algorithm. They select 3 sort of clip of you that you can select as your first element if you don't want to create anything. It's just the default.
Yeah.
So it could be a funny expression of yours. And that's the thing, is if your video is of very low quality, then that first frame is going to be rubbish.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So, but if you create a thumbnail, you can actually upload it and you select that as your first frame.
So you put that on, Lucy, when you load a video up. So when you load the video up, it's at that point you can put the thumbnail on it.
And it gives you the option to do that, does it? So it
Yes.
does it ask it, right, okay, I need to just go in and play with it, really, don't I?
Yeah, it will be there.
Yeah, you do. And also, if you want to ask anything, because I'm doing my channel and I've been building my channel, so any little questions like that, I'm always happy to help with things if I know it.
Yeah, you've done it now, Jules.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to share as well, because I had my channel, I think I started to seriously, regularly load up videos in about April 2019, okay? And today I have 197 subscribers. Now, the only reason for that is organic. It's because every time I've done what Clarice says, and I've also learned even more since I started to talk to Clarice about YouTube. So I've just always shared on all my social media channels if a video went up. And I always then encourage people to subscribe to my channel, as opposed to, oh, here's a video, but if you like it, subscribe and press the bell so that you always see my videos. So little tiny things like that are like those top tips. And we can keep building on that for all of you if you start your channels. But actually, I think what Clarice has shared tonight is such wonderful gold, because this is the stuff that you have to consistently then remember about how you make your video, you know, how often, quality, patience, all those things are amazing, I think. So, but I just wanted to share my journey in terms of how quick I've got where I've gone. And it felt really slow.
Playing with it, I know, in a proper word.
Say again, Sue.
If Lucy was talking about playing with the YouTube, do you have to load up what you've done? I mean, if it all goes wrong, does it still end up on in your
videos
or whatever it is?
Yeah. Well, Clarice will back me up, but you can set it as private, unlisted, or public when you load a video. So if you're really not sure, I suspect you can probably put it as private till you're sure. And then you can also delete them, can't you, Clarice?
Yes, you can.
All right.
So actually you can play, I think, can't you, Clarice, to a degree?
Yes. What you can do at the start, I mean, you can view your videos before you load up. But if you want someone to watch your video and see if it's really okay, what you can do is you can set it to unlisted, and you share the link maybe with your friend whom you want to double check with. They have a watch, because unlisted means if you share the link with someone, then they can watch it. It's just not public. It's not indexed, not in a directory. So you can still share with friend. If your friend take a look and your friend says, "Oh, don't," then you set it public.
Yeah. That's cool.
Cool.
Tina, are you going to set a channel up, my love, or have you got one?
Just find the mute. I have got one. I haven't done anything with it. I am intending to do some stuff, but it's not been a priority so far. But I think it's I think that's the thing. I am a perfectionist, as you know.
I do.
And sometimes you just got to kind of go for it. But yeah, I'm unlike Lucy. I am not excited about the prospect of doing video at all. So maybe you can be my front man, Lucy. But yeah, I will do. And I think today's been really helpful. So thank you so much, Clarice.
I think
You're
as well.
welcome.
I think as well, Tina, you've done some videos on LinkedIn and they really are great. And you won't believe me if I tell you that, but they are great. And you're such a really beautiful, articulate speaker. And so I think you've got to think about what Clarice said about your personality and people being drawn to you, because that's how you are. You've got that charisma and that energy. And if you start believing that, and then that content is kind of there because you just know what you're doing, I think you could really start building up some really great informative videos on your subject matter. And you're going to have to go through the pain, my lovely, because it's actually about your customers needing to see you than how you're feeling. And then you know how
yeah, that's right. I know. I'll get over myself, get over the ego. I know.
I don't even think it's ego. I think it's just our natural human feeling of, oh God, you know, the imposter syndrome stuff. It's massive. Can you imagine that I feel the same? Probably you can't, because I make lots of videos, but I do. Every time I make a video, I'm a bit
I think the other thing is that it, you know, I think these things do, when you're building a brand, take time to kind of think it through. For me, that's really important. I kind of build that kind of story and that you know, all of that. And I think that's really, you know, I want to invest some time in doing it. So I think I can, by the end of this year, I will get some videos up there for sure.
Amazing. We'll be watching and waiting for them, Tina. No pressure.
Yeah, so you lot can all subscribe to it, and I'll keep the family at arm's length, Clarice. They are definitely not my target.
Wait.
I think we should all subscribe. If you've already got a channel, just put your channel domain in the coffee shop and let's subscribe to each other, because that's another way to support each other, isn't it? And Angie, I haven't forgotten you, because have you got anything started, or what are you thinking with regards to what you do?
No, because I don't know many people that want to know things about law, that, you know, that if they come in, they sort of come in for a specific reason. Mine's usually because I do the buying and selling of houses. The thought of doing the YouTube video fills me with fear, because you're out there with so many people looking at it, and you've, because it's legal, you've got to have your content exactly right, otherwise you're open to too much. So it's good, and I've just been sitting here thinking, oh, I could do this, I could do that. So thinking about it, but I don't know if I'd have enough content to put on there. But that's just the fear of the unknown.
I think as well, with what you do, you could make it quite creative in, like, what are the questions that people ask when they want to buy a house?
Yeah, so many questions.
So many. And so exactly. And so actually not even in the legal vein of anything, just those standard things that you might want to know. You can make,
like for example, you know, when the chancellor announced this stamp duty cut, you can make a video about that. Okay, what does this mean with this stamp duty cut? You know?
Yeah.
About that. What does this mean for you? Should you still buy a house, or should you wait till next year? Or if you will buy, is it going to help you? You know?
I think the other thing for something like you, Angie, I don't know what the others think, but I think these kind of Q&A, like panel type conversations. So if you've got some, you know, a variety of experts where you can actually talk about a topic, and it's not even necessarily you giving legal advice, but actually it just shows your expertise. It gives you your personality. You know, it's that emotional connection, I think, is maybe something else to think about.
Because you could do that with an agent. You could easily set something up with an agent or a surveyor or something along those lines. And,
if
you know, when you go in,
like me, I watch what do they call those two who sell houses?
Kirsty and Phil.
Kirsty and her mate, yeah. And this, because they've been stuck in lockdown, they haven't been able to do it, and they've been reviewing their last 20 years or whatever, and they're only sat one either side of the settee.
Yeah.
And then, you know, or either side of the table with us on settee, chatting about one program they did all about
Hang on a
first-time
second.
buyers. You know, and they just put little clips in of various people that first-time buyers they've had.
Yeah.
Or, you know, there was a slant on various things. If you had, like Tina said, if you had somebody who you could just sit and chat to about a reason for buying a house, you know, the things you could look for and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think
They can do it, you can.
Well, yeah, and I think once you get going on content, I don't know about anyone else, but once you get in that zone with the amount of things you can tell people and the amount of things people are asking you all the time. You know, when I looked at the learning in the membership and I started to think about what lessons do I need to make, you know, once you get going, it's like there's just hundreds of things you could talk about, you know, and it's the same with content, I think. So I absolutely think you could make a great channel, Angie, if you felt the fear.
Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I know Lucy's stuff is so fascinating. Lucy's been on a journey, and I know she'll tell us her story. She did a bit in her intro, didn't you, Luce? And I think your journey is so fascinating, and out of the back of it, Lucy's completely changed her career. She's just starting a brand new business, which is so fabulous, and she's so passionate about it, and that's for me what business is about, you know, that connection and passion.
What are you doing, Lucy?
I'm a health coach, so I've moved out of corporate, and I went through breast cancer twice, and completely, you know, I was in a really downward spiral with my health in respect of having lots of different treatment, radiotherapy and all these sort of things. And there was nothing really they could do more for me. So I just went on a journey and completely detoxed my body and went through fasting and went out to Bali and trained with a health guru out in Bali who's quite renowned. And yeah, so now I take people on that same sort of journey. So yeah.
She's amazing.
That problem could do with you, couldn't she?
Yeah, Chessie. Yeah.
Yeah. Problem. A lot of it's stored emotions. So like breast cancer is all about stored emotions from like giving and receiving of love. So when we suppress emotions and don't express it, it manifests in disease in the body. So I do lots of releasing and things like that from that perspective.
So interesting. Lucy's so interesting. You must have a virtual couple with her or something.
Bless. So, yeah, I was doing something very different when I met Jules.
I was their coach. I was training them in their business, you know. We were selling bollards in supermarkets, weren't we? Bumpers and stuff, Lucy.
Building supermarkets, that's what I was involved in. So that's what made me sick.
But are there any other questions for Clarice? Because she's been so kind giving her time up tonight. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I know she's such a fountain of knowledge, you know. So Clarice, thank you so much. This is our first Love to Learn in the membership. It's been an absolute cracker. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time.
It's really inspiring.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and the podcast was brilliant as well, by the way. I just want to say that I did have a little bit of a stalking crush on you after I heard that one.
I'll post the links in as well so people can just go and listen to that if they want to. Because we did a podcast. Clarice was on my podcast. And we had a fabulous human conversation. My lovely.
We talk about Google and other things.
We did. We did talk about Google, and you know, Google owns YouTube, doesn't it, Clarice?
Yeah, Google owns YouTube. If you are not aware of it, so it's all about it. Oh yeah, if your channel starts doing really well on YouTube, so Google will show your YouTube as the results on Google search results.
Yeah. So it can't be a bad thing, can it? It just can't be a bad thing. So lovely. Thank you, Clarice. Thank you so much.
Well,
thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye. See you soon.
See you
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.